Hello my friends, welcome to Life Changers, a program designed to give solutions to the problems of daily living. Today we will be talking about motivation, how to motivate our children. I have with me my wife, K.V Abraham. We have 3 children and we have raised them. They are adults now. And there is a lot that we can talk about, good and bad, from our own experience of raising these 3 kids. And I also have my friend Mr. Johnson Thomas, who has 2 kids, and we have been friends for a very long time. And actually, our kids, they were raised together, and there is so much that he could share from his own experience of raising 2 wonderful kids. And we will also relate all of this to Bible, and we will look at some Bible truths when it comes to raising children and motivating them. Mr. Johnson Thomas, I am so happy to have you with me on this show.
Honored to be here.
And of course, my wife, K.V Abraham. Well, let me ask you this. What's something that you learned from your own experience of raising your kids?
Well, first of all, it was not easy.
Okay.
It was very hard. Raising kids to the level they are in now, not all because of our doing, but because of the grace of God, they grew up to be what they are right now. But at the same time, we had a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned motivating children. From a very young age, our children look up to us. Growing up, they look at us and see how we are motivated and for what reason. If we are not motivated, we cannot instruct our children to be motivated. If we don't have any goals in life, we cannot tell our children to have goals in life. They watch us from day one. They learn from us and then learn from their friends, mm-hmm. as well as from schools. But most of the learning comes from family. Our time together with our kids, the instructions we give them, the way they learn, the way we evaluate their learning and what they do and what they want to become. We discuss these things. And especially when they see us motivated, having goals in life, like I mentioned earlier, they get motivated automatically. And a little push will really help. A lot of the parents are motivated to make money or they have certain goals in life, but that's not the motivation I'm talking about. I'm talking about actualizing something in life. Fulfilling their dreams or going for their goal in life, and they may divert from it once, twice, or 3 times, but with proper help and guidance, they can be motivated with involving them with the right company, doing things for them and being with them, helping them in every way you can, discussing their daily issues with them, school issues, their friendship issues, their growing up issues. These are the things that parents should talk with them and lead them and guide them into that. And thankfully, our kids listen for the most part, and they are in the shape they are in now is because of that listening and motivation that we provided, and also what they have learned from their good friends and also from school.
Thank you for sharing that with us. One thing that I have always admired is the way that you have encouraged your children. You're one parent who really didn't stop them from what they wanted to do. You always encouraged them and went along with them and took them all the way to be what they wanted to be. Mm-hmm. And that is something that I learned from you. On the other hand, I know personally, although being a psychologist, I have always encouraged them, but I also set limits, mm-hmm. and also guided them in certain ways, whether for good or bad. Mm-hmm. And I personally think it worked out for good. And same thing about my wife too. We have been always, when it comes to our children and their education, their ideals and so forth, we have been always together on the same page. Mm-hmm. And we never had any conflict with that. Good. And that's something that I'm thankful to God for. Mm-hmm. I'm not a very strong disciplinarian. I never take, I never spank them. Okay, but my wife is so good with that.
So one offsets the other.
Right. But my hard words were not always very pleasant, and I regret for that sometimes. Okay, but she's very scriptural when it comes to using the road. But thank God they are all doing good, and I mean it's not us, but I'm sure it is also the Lord. Now I know you're very involved in our Bible teaching ministries. Let me ask you this: what Christian principles or biblical principles have been useful while you are training or raising your children?
The very basic principles in the Bible that we see that, for example, train up a child in the way he should grow, then he will not depart from the ways of God. And that I instilled that in our kids from the very beginning. Thankfully, we were able to send our children to a very good Christian school from early age. And they learned a lot of the biblical principles from their teachers too. And every day we took them to school. I dropped them off in the morning. My wife would pick them up in the afternoon. So we had this conversation going, driving into school, driving out of school. Both time we had conversations going on. What happened in class today? What kind of learning did you have? What did you eat for lunch? What was your breakfast? Was there any missionary training today? And this being a Christian school, they have all kinds of training which involves Christian missions and even giving a nickel or a dime for the Christian mission and all that. I remember I used to give Allison, my daughter, 55 cents, 50 cents for lunch and 5 cents for ice to go with the drink. And so 55 cents. And every morning I give her the 55 cents, and in the evening when I get home, I ask her what was for lunch, and she will explain it to me. And one day she told me, I did something today that you probably won't like. I said, what happened? Oh, I used the 5 cents instead of buying ice, I gave it to the missions. And I said, why would you think that I don't like it? Because you gave me the money for lunch and I used it for something else. I said, no, that's a wonderful thing you did. What motivated you to do that? And she said, the teacher explained something about poor kids and they don't have any shoes or toothbrush or something. So I figured my 5 cents each day will probably help them. So right there was a principle that she learned on her own from the school at the same time with my support that motivated her to become what she is today. In that example, I learned that she actually taught me a lesson or two.
Wow. Wow. I mean, I can share a couple of experiences too. I'm sure you may have something to share too. I remember this one time we went for a crusade, and at the end of the crusade, I saw one of our sons really emptying out everything that was in his wallet to give to the preacher. See, some things that we have planted in their hearts when they were young,
right.
We are thinking at that point this would have some fruition at the end, in some special ways.
Right.
I'll just give you a small example. As you know, my daughter has her own law firm right now, and basically she has recruited lawyers who are of the same values and same worldview and same faith. And they have, for example, every day starts with their own little devotion and prayer in the law firm. And they have started their own youth ministry now. And when I think of all those things, I used to wonder, how did that happen? I mean, we never asked them to do all these things this way. But somewhere along the line, they picked up those values and they are using those now.
Yeah, the little seed you planted in them when they were young, whether you knew it or not, whether they knew it or not, it started the germination process, and it now is coming to the fruition. It's coming to the stage where you are seeing the benefits of it, the fruits of it. They are actually doing something based on what they learned when they were young. So the Bible verse that goes, train up a child the way he or she should grow.
Right.
And that's what happened here.